What's up? Welcome to my kitchen. I'm gonna give you some Asian tips on how to cook. Basically, not really Asian tips, just understanding how to cook tips. Um, these things here, this is I don't know if you can see that very well, but these things here are broccoli stalks. So if you buy broccoli on a stalk and you chop it up and you take the little broccoli pieces off, don't just throw away the stalk. Shave off the outside with a peeler, any kind of peeler, and then the heart of the stalk, chop up into cubes. It is good to use for broths. It's good to use for making a cream of broccoli. It purees down. If you boil it right, it'll puree down really well. What I'm going to be using this in, that's celery and some carrots, and of course the broccoli stalks. And I'm going to be adding an onion to it. And I've already chopped up some fresh beets. So there's some beets. Now notice I got the beets separate because the beets aren't going to be getting cooked. They're just going to be thrown in at the end. And a great thing about cutting your onion, you notice I was cutting the beets before, take the end of your onion off, leave the root base. It makes it way easier to dice and cube up your onion. So that is my basic semi stir fry. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be stir frying this, which is just carrots, broccoli, and celery. And I'm going to be adding onion to it with some ginger, a little bit of, I don't know, I'll probably use avocado oil. I'll use avocado oil today. Oh, by the way, if you're buying avocado oil, there is only one company currently that actually does make real avocado oil. Like all the other avocado oils that are out there, they're like either soy oil with avocado oil, or they're not even avocado oil at all. But let's see if I can get back here to it. This company chosen, 100% avocado oil. It actually is avocado oil. Been tested. It's actually, you can trust it. A lot of other companies say avocado oil, but that one you can actually trust is actually avocado oil. Works really good at high temperature, works really good at being a light, non-saturated, bad cholesterol causing oil. And if you see my eyes shifting one side to the other, I'm looking at my image and then looking at my camera. So sorry, I apologize for that. But yeah, gonna dice that up. And what we're adding to that, which I've been working on these for weeks, not weeks, like a week, but I've been working on it for a while now, trying to get these ready. What we're gonna be cooking that with. Aha. Ooh, they're nice and jelly. Sea cucumber. Look how beautifully squishy that is. So, sea cucumbers. That's what's going to be going into that, and I will show you how to make the sauce. I will show you how the sauce goes together. Overall, what the entire recipe is. This is just the chopping for the pre. And yeah, so here we go. So the biggest factor in this recipe is sea cucumber, and I've got two different types, but they're the exact same type per se of sea cucumber. They're just these dried sea cucumber. Like you can see, like I'm squeezing on that and nothing's happening. These are hard as a rock. Hard as a rock. Now, to get this from this point to being an edible food takes a couple days. First off, you're gonna soak them. Now that means how many sea cucumbers do you want to actually eat? Like how much meat mass do you want to have for the dish that you're preparing? Do you want to keep these on hand? And you're going to be cooking them a couple of times and soaking them a couple of times, so they're going to actually expand a lot. And you're killing out any bacteria every time you boil them, so they're going to last for quite a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison of what the dried looks like with the reconstituted. But overall, the process to get from that to that is throw it in water, submerge it in water. It'll naturally soak with the water and sink because it's heavier. And put a cover on it, stick it in your fridge 24 hours. After 24 hours, take it out, boil it. That's a frying pan, but you know what I mean. boil it in water, make sure the water's covering it, boil it on medium heat, and boil it for about 1 hour to 1.5 hours. Then let it cool off. Once it cools off, dump out that water, toss it into your soaking dish with fresh water, and throw it back into the fridge for another 24 hours. You're gonna repeat this process twice, 2 times. You can repeat it 3 times if you want to, but over the span of about 7 days, you will end up with this nice, very meaty, textured sea cucumber. And the more you reconstitute, the bigger it gets. I'm gonna guess these are probably about as big as these sea cucumbers are gonna get, because it's been 7 days now, so they're not gonna get much bigger. Now, the reason I'm recommending sea cucumber is because it is not only a meat that keeps a great shelf life, like it keeps an incredible shelf life. You can just throw it in mason jars if it's been dried out and let it sit forever. The biggest thing about sea cucumber is it's pretty much all protein. It's all protein. Now, depending on how you cook it, even though you're gonna be boiling it 2 to 3 times for an hour, so it's gonna have about 3 hours of boiling, you can continue to boil it even more. So if you've ever had tendon, the more you pressure cook or boil tendon, the tender it gets. Tender. So you keep boiling up tendon, it'll basically eventually turn into a jelly. Sea cucumber will do the same thing. The longer you cook it, the softer it gets. The big keys are controlling your heat and controlling the amount of submersion you got, the amount of water that's being added to it, and pressure. If you really want a tender sea cucumber, pressure cook it with a good broth and add in whatever kind of fats you want. Healthy fats, duck fat, tallow, or you can even add oils like avocado oil. Sea cucumber is going to naturally have a flavor almost like a scallop, so it's going to kind of taste like a clam right off the top, which is actually advantageous to you as a cook. You can add any flavors you want to it, as long as you toss in just a tiny bit of butter with those flavors and toss in your sea cucumber. Your sea cucumber is going to absorb those flavors in, and all of that flavor is going to be trapped inside the sea cucumber, so you can make it taste pretty much however you want. I've had candied sea cucumber, I've had sour sea cucumber, sweet and sour sea cucumber, oyster style sea cucumber, savory, sweet. It can do everything across the board. It's been firm, it's been jelly, it's been kind of like a jello. Any texture that you want, it's all there. And remember, again, it's all protein, so it's a great source of protein to have, because as a dried sea cucumber, it doesn't take up that much space, and its shelf life is almost indefinite. It'll last for quite a while. So for preparation of these little guys, it's pretty simple. We're just gonna cut them right down the center. I like using a pair of food shears, and then we're going to dice them crosswise. So they will end up looking like this. One's cut down the center. And you want to open them up, that way you can see if there's anything you need to remove, if there's any guts that are left inside of them. And just remove those guts by just running your fingers up and down the inside of them. And then just giving them a quick chop. I like to cut them into about 1/2-inch chops, and then tossing them back into your water that you have them soaking in until you're ready to cook them. So you're going to cook your vegetables down with soy sauce and whatever kind of fat you want to add. I use duck fat. And then after that, ginger, salt, garlic salt, a little bit of pepper. Let those reduce. Then toss in your chopped sea cucumbers and some soy sauce and steam that up. And once it cooks down a little bit, it's going to pull some of the water out of the sea cucumbers. You're going to add in just a tiny bit of cornstarch or whatever kind of starch or thickener you want to use, and until it's thick, and that's it. Oh, a dash of sugar to counteract some of the saltiness. There you go.